Hey guys, this is Alan, and in today's episode, I'm going to show you how to check for drainage. If you're planting a tree in the ground and you're not sure how to check for drainage, today I'm going to show you exactly how to do just that. Now, the first thing you're gonna need is, as you can see, I got a hole back here. And I'm planting a tree in here. It's really big, so that's why the hole is bigger than usual. But before planting the tree in the ground, you have to check for drainage. Drainage is the most important thing that you can do for your trees, regardless of anything else that you're gonna put in the ground. Drainage, it's really hard to improve your drainage after you actually plant your tree in the ground. And you also wanna make sure that the hole you plant your tree in drains the water. What usually happens if you don't have drainage, if you dig a hole, it doesn't matter how big the hole is, the water is going to drain. But what's gonna happen is, if the soil doesn't drain the water quick enough, it's just gonna keep on pulling on the bottom of the hole. You're going to have to water your plant frequently, especially during the summer, especially its first year in the ground, because that root ball will dry out faster than the surrounding soil, and you're going to have to water it frequently. The water will drain very quickly because, well, you're just replacing all the soil with new soil in there, and then obviously when you water, the water will look like it's draining very quickly. But if you don't actually check for drainage right now before you plant your tree in the ground, you just will never know. And then overwatering issues usually take months, if not years, to actually develop. So if you water and you don't have any drainage, what's gonna happen is the water will pull on the bottom of the hole and it will remain there. And then you're gonna have to water your plant, and then the water just gonna keep on pulling on the bottom and it will never dry. As your tree actually grows and it grows roots into the area, it may take a few months, it may take a few years, but eventually you will probably have overwatering issues. Most times you won't see overwatering issues during the summer because your plant's actually actively drinking the water from the soil. Now, during the winter months when it's cooler, your plants are not transpirating as much. So the soil takes a lot longer to dry, and then since that's being wet the whole time, that is usually the time when you're gonna experience overwatering issues. Now, usually, there are two things that are going to prevent drainage in your soil. Here in our area, it's mainly going to be clay. Clay is very easy to fix. You use gypsum. You just sprinkle gypsum everywhere. It's a chemical reaction, soluble calcium. It reacts with the clay. It breaks up the clay bonding and allows the water to drain. The second reason why your soil is not draining the water, it could be rocks, it could be caliche, it could be compacted soil. At that point, guys, you're just gonna have to keep digging deeper into the soil and check for drainage. But anyways, let me stop talking, and then I'm gonna show you exactly how to check for drainage. The first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna dig your hole. It doesn't really matter how big the hole is because you're gonna have to fill it up with water. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fill up the hole all the way to the top of water, and then we're gonna time it, and we're gonna see how long it takes to drain the water. So let me go ahead and get my water on right now, and I'm gonna fill up the hole with water, and we're gonna time it together, and we're gonna see exactly how long it takes for the water to drain. Let me do that right now. Alright guys, as you can see, the hole is fully drained. Now it got dark, and then my battery died last night, so I couldn't record it. But I think it was fully dry, well, completely drained like you see it right now, around 9:30 last night. So you know, it took a few hours. I have to check the time because I don't remember what time we started. But yeah, definitely within 24 hours. Right now it's as you can see, it's 8:56 in the morning. So it definitely within 24 hours, so I'm good to go. I already knew this area here drains the water fine, because we have been using gypsum and water in this general area for many years now, so the soil has you know, softened up, and then the drainage actually improved over the years. Now let's talk about what you're gonna do if your hole doesn't drain the water. Alright guys, so let's say you fill up the hole with water all the way to the top, and then 24 hours later it's still full of water. Now I'm talking about, you know, halfway full or even fuller than that. Now if it's only a little bit of water left, maybe an inch or 2 inches, you should be okay. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly 24 hours. Now, like, you know, if it's 24 hours and then the hole is all, you know, full to the top, then that's a different story. But within, you know, roughly a few hours, you know, more or less, you're good to go, guys. Now let's say your hole doesn't drain the water. So that means you need to fix that drainage before you actually plant your tree in the ground. So there are two reasons most times why your soil is not draining water. Here in Arizona, the main reason is going to be clay. So what clay does, it bonds together very tightly, just a bunch of salts bonded together, and then it doesn't allow the water to drain. So what we do here in Arizona, especially with alkaline soils and clay, use gypsum. So gypsum, it could be any brand. It doesn't have to be this one right here. But gypsum, it's actually soluble calcium. So what it does is it dissolves in water, and then it reacts with the clay in the soil. So what it will do is it will actually break up the clay bonding, just break it apart and allow the water to drain. It's a chemical reaction, so as soon as it touches the clay, it happens almost instantly. Now you have to understand, for the full effect, it will take a few months. But let's say your hole is not draining the water, and then you know that you have clay. So what are you going to do, especially if you live in Arizona or if you have clay soil that is alkaline? You're gonna get yourself some gypsum, and then the way you apply gypsum is you cannot overdo it, so do not worry about it. This is not gonna kill your plant. It's not gonna affect the root system of your plant. It's not gonna do anything to anything. All it's gonna do is break up the clay. So you're gonna get yourself some gypsum, and you're just gonna throw it everywhere. Just like that, guys. Everywhere. You cannot overdo it. Usually, what I like to do, I like to cover the ground. Let me show you. Until you can't see the ground anymore. And that's good to go. Now, the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna fill up the hole all the way to the top of water, and then you're gonna time it the second time around, and you're gonna see how long it takes. If it's clay that's preventing drainage, I can almost guarantee you that hole will drain water faster than if you didn't put any gypsum in there. Now, this gypsum right here, it's only treated in this area right here, and you have to understand that your tree will grow out of this hole eventually. So what I usually recommend, especially if you have clay, is go around your yard and just throw gypsum everywhere, just like this. You can just do it by hand. You're gonna have to get a heavy duty what do you call it, spreader, because this is heavy, and if you use like those plastic ones from the box stores, they get clogged up and it's just not gonna work. So you're either gonna have to get an industrial one, or you're gonna have to do it by hand. I do it by hand because, well, it doesn't take that long, and all you gotta do is just throw it everywhere and you are good to go. Now, the next thing you need to do, guys, is you need to water the area. The more you water the area, deep water, the faster gypsum will work. But just to give you an idea, this area right here used to take 6 days to drain the water. The first time I ever dug a hole in here, I filled it up to the top, and it took 6 days to drain the water without gypsum. At the time, I wasn't really sure how everything worked, but I had a, you know, understanding that clay may, cause drainage issues, and then I did some research. And then somebody told me about gypsum, and I was skeptical because I'm skeptical about everything, especially stuff that people sell that, I meant your soil and it's gonna do miracles. Anyways, I did the research. I searched how it actually works. Gypsum has a positive charge on it. Clay, is a bunch of salts bonded together. So when this comes in contact with clay, it's a chemical reaction. It will detach the salts from the clay, breaking the bonding apart, and then allows the water to drain. I mean, there's no question in that. So I'm like, you know what? I don't have anything to lose. So I tried gypsum. I put 500 pounds of gypsum throughout my whole property. I was cheap. I probably needed, I would say, 2,000 pounds. But believe it or not, within 10 months, it brought down my drainage from 6 days to 1 day. Now, I think it's been 4 years now since we started using gypsum. And it takes roughly, as you saw here, this one took what? I have to, check the time. I don't really remember. But I think, 9-10 hours maybe to fully drain the water. So that's amazing drainage, guys, in my book, especially with my clay soil here. If your soil drains the water faster, you're great. If it takes 24 hours, you're fine. If you're just starting, over time, it will soften up. The living organisms in the soil are gonna mend your soil, and then it will improve drainage over time naturally anyway. But anyways, gypsum fixes clay and nothing else. All it will do is, allow the water to drain faster. It takes a few months to work, but usually on a small area like this, if you fill it up with water, you will see results almost immediately. It may not be 100% results, but you will get some improvement. Now, let's say your trees are in the ground already. Gypsum will also work. Just spread it over the surface and water it in. The more you water, the faster it works. You want to deep water this stuff, because what's happening is, this is how you create caliche, guys. Caliche is just a layer of solidified calcium, and that takes decades to actually happen. So don't worry too much about it. Just deep water and you'll be good to go. That will allow the gypsum and the salts to go deeper into the soil, and by the time you have an issue, I'll be dead, you'll be dead, we're all gonna be dead anyway, so it's not gonna be our problem, right? Anyways, so that's the first one, guys. Now, the second reason why your soil is not draining, that is usually a physical obstruction. It could be compacted soil, or it could be rocks, it could be caliche, it could be anything. So at that point, guys, what you're gonna have to do, you're gonna have to keep going deeper into the soil. How much deeper? Well, that depends on your soil. Normally, it's only a tiny layer that's actually preventing drainage. So you don't have to dig a massive hole like this one to keep going, and keep going down. You can just dig a smaller hole in the middle, and then keep filling the hole with water, and see how long that water takes to drain. You will know immediately if you get past that layer that's preventing drainage. But really, there's nothing else you can do about it. You're gonna have to keep going deeper. You don't wanna go wider, because water is not gonna go sideways, guys. It's gonna always pull on the bottom, and then that's gonna cause problems over time. But yeah, just keep on digging deeper. If it's rocks, you're gonna have to use a jackhammer. If it's just compacted soil, just keep on digging down. And then fill it up with water, and then if you have clays, use gypsum. And then over time, as you water the area and you start treating it, and the bugs come in and the living organisms come in, they are gonna amend your soil, so don't worry too much about it. And that is how you check for drainage, guys. Just a quick summary: fill up the hole with water, let it fully drain, see how long that takes. 24 hours or less, you're good to go. If it takes several days, well, at that point, you're gonna have to fix the drainage before you plant your tree in the ground, so that way you don't have any drainage issues over time. If you have clay, gypsum will work for clay. If you have a physical obstruction, at that point you're gonna have to physically keep on digging down until you break through water layers preventing drainage. And that is how you actually fix your check for drainage, guys. This technique right here will work on everything, and this is the only thing that we always recommend when planting in the ground. Everything else is secondary, but if you do this, I can almost guarantee you, as long as you keep watering and meet the specific requirements of your plant, you will be successful. But anyways, guys, if you have any comments, comment below. If you like my videos and you want to see more in the future, just go ahead and subscribe, and then I'll see you next time.